How many of you must be considering right now whether or not to take on a graduate? Yeah, there's a gentleman over there. Great. Now, if they're anything like my three girls, you're probably thinking, well, they're lazy, they're qualified and they got a university degree, but really, what do they know? They think they know everything. Some of you might be thinking, well, their brains work 10 times faster than I tend to think at. And do I really want to bring one of these people into my organization? Well, I'm here to tell you today that this was probably one of the best decisions I've made this year, bringing Jahina as a graduate from the STEP scheme into the Kairos experience. She's been absolutely first class, and I thank you very much for your words today, and I thank you for your services to our business. You've been absolutely fantastic. Let me tell you why, because I think now, ladies and gentlemen, is the time when we can show industry and commerce that employing graduates in the Wolverhampton and Black Country area has significant benefits for us as business people here in the local area. And I'm going to point out three particular things. First of all, it will enable you to put a quality and candidated graduate into the job market that will be shaped by you. So you improve the quality of candidates that end up on the job market. Number two, it's a fabulous resource for you and your companies to be able to get tough projects and tasks done. And I make no apologies for saying the word tough projects and also tough tasks done, because you're employing people who are already good. They've got good qualifications, and we've just got to draw it out. And the third reason I say this is because this will enhance your leadership development ability. I found that to be an unintended consequence of employing Jahina over the period that we have had. Graduates can play a vital role in business success. And unlike a typical recruitment and selection process, when you have a graduate on a STEP scheme or any one of the schemes that were shown by Aline earlier, you have the opportunity to shape them, to mold them into the ideal candidate for your particular employment or your particular organization. And they can come out with the profile that you desire because you have the opportunity to shape them. My name is Earl Lynch. I am the Managing Director of the Kairos Experience. We're a local learning and development consultancy, but we have a global footprint. So it's going to be really good for me and really a delight for me to come and share some of the things that we've done over the last almost 4 or 5 months now with Jahina. Russell gave me a number of pointers, so I'm going to use those questions as guides to go forward. First of all, he said, what initially made you think of the graduate scheme or the graduate program to bring a graduate in? Well, there was a number of things. First of all, we're a small business, but we've got a global footprint, so we've got to go far. We needed someone who could hit short-term projects and tasks fast, and to not only do them fast, but do them well. In addition to that, we needed somebody who's going to work to high standards. We couldn't afford to play around. We didn't want somebody who's going to be taking a long time to come through the learning curve and then become productive. We almost needed them to be productive from the word first. And in addition to that, we needed somebody who had what we call the 4 C's. They had to have high competence, they had to be credible, they had to have a degree of character and principle about them, and most of all, we needed them to have good chemistry. We wanted to be able to have somebody that we could get on with, and that would get on with the people that we associate with. So Jahina embodied all of that. But when she started with us, she was a quivering wreck. She was nervous. She wouldn't connect with people on the phone. She hated the phone. Can I email them, Earl? No! She was on the phone. Get in connection with him. Hence the call with Nick McGrath. Nick thought it was one of those calls from PPI people who I'm from the Kairos Experience. Even though Nick knows the Kairos Experience, he went, straight down. Well, she very quickly overcame nerves on that and became a lot more confident speaking to people, particularly people with influence and people who are business decision makers. Some people tend to shy away from people like that and they don't see them as human beings, but Jahina very quickly overcame that particular disposition. So, what do I feel have been the benefits of employing a graduate? Well, initially I would have said that the benefits should all have gone to the graduate. But I've got to say, put that aside, I got more benefits from employing a graduate than ever. And some of them I didn't actually think that I was going to get. To give an example, it made me have to think. I really had to think. So when Beverly and I were thinking of taking on a graduate, we first of all had to think, okay, there's a personal specification here from the university. How do we make sure we know what we want? So we had to start thinking about, well, what are the desired things that we want from this individual and what are the essential things that we want. So we really had to think it through. What is it that we desire from this person who's going to join us over a period of time? Secondly, when it came to the interview questions, you can't just ask the questions you like to ask. You can't ask questions like, well, are you thinking of getting married or have you got a boyfriend? Those questions are out of the question, right? So we had to think very carefully about equal opportunities and what is the right kind of question that we should be asking inside the interview. But more importantly, we had to be clear about what are the kind of responses that we would like to hear that match this individual to the profile that we desire. Thirdly, we had to then think about when the individuals came to interview, what was the assessment process that we were going to use? And was it going to be an assessment process that was fair? That we could actually say at the end of that assessment, right, this is the individual we want because their performance was marginally better than somebody else's. And we managed to do that. And it made us think. And this is before Jahina's even done one day with us. Just the process of getting a graduate into your organization, you have to really think it through. We then went on to a situation where we had to map out a program over 12 weeks. So our 12-week program had projects, it had deadlines, it had timelines, and it had a way that we were going to monitor performance. And again, that was a very good thing to be involved in. But Jahina did a number of significant projects for us, but there's two that I want to point out. First of all, the website. She's already told you about the detail that was required behind that. But if I just tell you, between you and us, nobody else is listening, we've had a website for 5 years and it's never been completed. I'm proud to say that next week our website is going to launch and it's brilliant. It's got all the bits and pieces in and it's largely due to that young lady there. In addition to that, we also do something called I Need Digital Dashboards. I don't know about you, but I have an accountant, I have a P&L account, I have end-of-year accounts, I have all of those details, and my accountant can tell me what my debtors are and what my creditors are, but do I really understand what's going on in my business? No, I don't. And the reason I don't is because I don't need that type of accounts. I need management accounts which tell me on the inside what's really going on. I need somebody to tell me, well, you know, how much revenue are we making? And what Jahina did, she took 6 years of our invoices, she put them into spreadsheets, she sliced them, diced them, put them into pivot tables, turned them into documents that I can now push a button and I can tell you how much revenue we get from any particular customer. I can tell you where it comes from, which country it comes from. I can tell you which was our best year yet, which was happened to be 2014. I can tell you why. And in fact, anybody ever watched Dragon's Den? Bring the dragons on. I want them to ask me about my business because now, because of the work that our graduates has done, she's enabled us to be able to, you know, basically tell anybody what's happening in our business at any one place in time. And we're getting better and better, and it's giving me rich information which turns data into useful information that I can now start thinking about the business and where our future opportunities lie. So that's been excellent. how has the graduate adapted to the role? Well, Jahina told me she came on Kairos Academy. She did brilliantly. Her presentation today, what did you think? Was that all right? I think it was marvelous. But if you'd have seen her 4 months ago, she would have been a crumbling wreck on the floor probably, but she's been brilliant. And she's just stepped up to the mark, and you saw that today. So our Kairos Academy is just a program that does presentation and facilitation skills and enables people to be really confident on their feet. What advice would I give to you as employers who are potentially thinking about making a decision to employ a graduate? 3 things. First of all, prepare yourself to receive the graduate. It doesn't happen by accident. You've got to be intentional about it. So prepare thoroughly. Secondly, be prepared to pour into their lives. And by that I mean, they're not just your standard employee. We've given Jahina over and above that which we would typically do for an employee. She's seen parts of the business. She's come on various business meetings with me, with chief execs. She's delivered little bits of programs with Astellas in one of our pharmaceutical colleagues. She's been there and she understands the full context of the business. And it's important that you pour into your graduates some good leadership and development. And finally, offer them high support and high challenge. High support them in all that they can do, but challenge them, push them to do that which is not easy. And I think when you give them that really good mix of those 3 things, you get a graduate that's worth investing in. Finally, just to finish off, Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu once said that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. I would encourage you today, ladies and gentlemen, to